Welcome to OC News. I'm Joel Valdez.
And I'm Sunan Rivas. OC News is brought to you by the broadcast journalism students at Cal State Fullerton.
Straight ahead on OC News, we all know that processed meat isn't necessarily good for us. Find out why you may want to stop eating it.
Also, updates on the possible teacher strike and why the youngest Jenner sisters are being sued.
All that and more on OC News, which starts right now. There is a new study that says processed meat can cause cancer. Red meat could also be a contributing factor. The study released by the World Health Organization Cancer Group classifies processed meat as, quote, carcinogenic to humans with potential to cause colon cancer, and red meat as, quote, probably carcinogenic. 22 experts from 10 countries were involved in the study. The cancer group's director says these findings support current public health recommendations to limit the amount of meat in your diet. Dr. Clifford Hudis, a medical oncologist, talks about the risk that comes with eating processed meat.
We do come with some sort of risk, and this seems to come with a little bit of a risk too, elevated risk of colon cancer. I actually don't think this is that much news. We've known for years that high-fat diets, that obesity in general, are associated with higher rates of cancer, especially colon cancer and a few others, also heart disease and diabetes and so forth. So this is one more small negative to enjoying that particular kind of food.
After the report was released, the meat industry groups blasted it, saying the reports were biased and misleading. Electronic voting for the 2015 strike authorization vote began last Monday for members of the California Faculty Association. They are seeking a 5% raise, which is 3% more than what is being offered. Online voting ends at 5 p.m. on Wednesday, October 28th. Members can also vote in person tomorrow and Wednesday at the polling station located in front of the Humanities Building. Adrian is up next with your latest on the Advertising Club and the Daily Titan.
The Daily Titan's biannual Fall Fest packed the Central Quad on campus this past Thursday. Hundreds of students joined in on the festivities with free food and drinks, along with live music entertainment provided by CSUF alum DJ Slim D, highlighting the 2-hour event. Tuffy the Titan was even on hand for photos and to show off some dance moves. Daily Titan National Sales and Event Coordinator Dominic Lorenz provided some insight as to what the Fall Fest is all about.
So it's basically where our account executives call our clients throughout the semester and have them want to participate and promote their business on campus, and basically have a fun-filled time with food and entertainment for all the students on Cal State Fullerton campus. So with some of the businesses we have Angels Baseball is here promoting their strike force, as well as giving away these cool Mike Trout hats. And we have pickup sticks as well, and also Inside Scoop, which has amazing ice cream and cookies for you guys to come out and see.
Daily Titan advisor Professor Michelle Curlin also spoke on the importance of the event.
Our primary goal is just to get out here with our newspaper and to engage with not only the students but with the faculty that are here on campus and let them know all of the great things that our clients have to offer.
Judging from the success of this year's Fall Fest, the Daily Titan is surely looking forward to next semester's Spring Fest event. For OC News, I'm Adrian Islas.
And Titans walking on campus Friday might have been wondering what the huge fence around the X lawn was all about. It was actually for an event by the Filipino American Student Association, which would draw over 5,000 Filipino students from all across the Southwest. For more on what happened this weekend, we go to our report from Donald Edmonds.
Saturday morning on Cal State Fullerton's ECS lawn, and it's crowded. Apparently a party started over the weekend. We're here at Cal State Fullerton ECS lawn, where they are having the 30th annual PASA, Kaibigan Friendship Games. PASA, the Filipino American Student Association, has been having these games annually. And last year, it brought in over 4,000 people to the event. And it looks like even more came this year.
Every year is different. I think every school has their own theme, and everyone has something new to bring.
The day was filled with games, dances, and Filipino groups from other universities facing each other off in cheer matches. Seeing brown was the new green, the lack of grass meant rolling around in the dust for some of the game participants.
basically a way for all the Filipino clubs that represent the Filipino American community to come together and compete, but in a not only competitive but friendly manner.
And it looked like they were having fun doing it too. One might wonder, how did they get all that energy?
Yeah, and we've all been here since 5:30 a.m.
In some of the participants, you could see it. Some sitting, taking a breather, or bowing out of the match completely.
Go home, you can sleep, you can shower, you can do whatever you want.
I was going to be in some of the activities, however, I tore something in my quads.
But others were determined to keep the energy going. One could say that it was almost contagious. Even I couldn't resist being part of it. For OC News, this is Donald Edmond.
And now the latest in our nation's politics, including what high school students think about presidential candidate Trump and Indonesia's decision to join TPP. Here is Cynthia Montes with the latest in politics.
Donald Trump plans to use a public high school's gymnasium for a campaign stop in Iowa. However, students and alumni are not happy with his choice to rally at West High School. Graduate of West High School, Francisco Valdez, voices his opinion about Trump. Valdez refers to Trump as a bully and describes Trump as a threat to the Latino community. He has also started a petition to have Trump move his rally elsewhere. However, faculty refers to Trump as a real opportunity.
He's influencing a lot of people to hate certain groups of people.
We recognize that there may be some who oppose or support any specific candidate, but this is a real opportunity to allow the educational process about the democratic process to continue.
Indonesian President Joko Widodo announces his country's Indonesia will be joining the Trans-Pacific Partnership trade deal, referred to as the TPP. Indonesia has an open economy and has the largest economy in Southeast Asia. Today, Joko Widodo met with the United States President Barack Obama, making Indonesia's partnership in the TPP official. With a population of 250 million, Indonesia becomes the biggest country in the region to join the TPP. At the conference in the White House, Widodo explains that Indonesia should be a part of the TPP, giving Indonesia's economic status in Southeast Asia. I quote Indonesian President Joko Widodo as he explains, "I want to say that Indonesia is open for investment. Indonesia is open for investors. 2/5 of the world economy have joined the TPP in order to counter the Chinese influence in the region." As Indonesia joins the TPP after several years of negotiation, the country sets a milestone by forming a part of the largest free trade zone in the world.
Up next on OC News, a personal interview with the Sustainability Programs Manager on campus, Megan Moskal, on the drought and our future efforts to reduce water usage. See you on the other side of this short break.
It's what powers our journey to reach unimaginable heights. It fosters a sense of yearning to create, explore, and soar. It strengthens our will to climb to the top. It's the bedrock of our conviction that nothing's impossible. It transforms us and sets us free to thrive and build lives of purpose. Titan pride is at the heart of who we are.
California is in the middle of the most severe drought on record. Last week, we talked about Cal State Fullerton's successful efforts to conserve and reduce water. By turning off irrigation to major areas of turf, Cal State Fullerton saved over 34 million gallons of water in just a couple months. The school is also using smart meters to monitor water use in areas such as the football field, while slowly changing the landscape to introduce more drought-resistant plants. Today, we want to talk about the future efforts to continue our contribution to reduce water use. And here to give us a small insight into Cal State Fullerton's plans is Megan Moskal, Sustainability Programs Manager on campus. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome to the show. Your team has actually done an amazing job at conserving and reducing water use. What we want to know is what kinds of new ideas and projects do you guys have to continue with the current pattern?
Well, I think a lot of our opportunities are still in the landscape. So we're really looking to capture the stormwater that ultimately does fall on campus. So now that we've cut the domestic water or the drinking water that we're using to water the landscape, how can we capture naturally occurring water that falls on campus to water our landscape? Maybe to flush fixtures inside our buildings, maybe to run some of our processes, either in labs or in our central plant. How can we utilize the existing resources on campus for our needs without having to import additional domestic water, things of that nature? On the flip side of that, we still get limited resources like rainwater that fall on campus. So how can we limit our use on campus as well? And that comes to a lot of things like fixture changes. A lot of our buildings are over 60 years old, and when they installed toilets and urinals, they use like 5 gallons of water per flush. And we have lots of fixtures now that can use much less than that we're looking into.
That's great. So if we take all these efforts to reduce the water and conserve it, how does that impact our school and then therefore our community?
Well, the more water that we can maintain on our campus, so rainwater, for instance, the more water that falls on our campus that we can keep on our campus to water our plants, to infiltrate into the aquifer underneath campus, things along those lines, the better it is for the downstream storm drain system. City of Fullerton is actually grossly deficient in terms of capacity. And we're a large campus. We have a lot of runoff. So if we can keep that on campus, it's much better for the entire community. Not to mention, it's an opportunity to educate our students about the part we play in the overall ecology of Orange County. We're part of a much larger watershed that ultimately ends at the ocean.
That's great. I think a lot of students want to know how they can help you guys. We understand you're a small group, but you're doing, a lot to be able to put Cal State Fullerton up top when it comes to water saving. So how can students help you guys?
Well, facilities management is a large team, but we work mostly in the background. And it includes grounds and building systems engineers, our group engineering and sustainability, custodians, but we're limited eyes. There are 38,000 students and even more faculty and additional staff on campus. And those additional eyes can really help us. So if you see leaks or excessive water use anywhere on campus, if you can call our service center at 3494, that's the extension, so it's 657-278-3494, and let them know, like, I see a leak, be able to describe where it is. Then we can send somebody out to fix that. Turn off faucets when you're done washing your hands in the bathroom and encourage other people to do the same. And then finally, and this might sound funny, but please be gentle on the toilets. So we find that especially around finals time, our toilets on campus get a little bit abused. And we do have old pipes, and it does take a lot of water to clear clogs. So if people could be gentle on the toilets, we would really appreciate it.
Well, thank you. Thank you for that tip. We will remember every time we go to the toilet. A popular retail store is catching up with the genders. And the famous pop singer makes a guest appearance at Hillary Clinton's rally in Iowa. Let's go to Alex Gomez with all the details in entertainment news.
Keeping up with the Kardashian sisters, Kendall and Kylie Jenner are being sued by the clothing store Island Company. The Florida-based company is accusing the reality TV stars of stealing their resort lifestyle retailer brand trademark logo. Island Company claims the sisters copied their trademark phrase that they have been using since 2005. The company is demanding they remove the logo from all their clothing pieces. Being released through PacSun, a representative for the sister has yet to respond. In other news, Jimmy Fallon suffered injuries at an award ceremony, and the new Steve Jobs biopic failed to place in the top 3 films in the box office this weekend. Here's Jeremy Roth with more.
Night host Jimmy Fallon found himself in a Massachusetts hospital Saturday night. Fallon was being honored by Harvard University's Humor magazine, but the celebrations were interrupted when the comedian fell and apparently injured his right hand. Just a few months ago, Fallon was hospitalized after badly injuring his left hand. And at the box office, The Martian topped ticket sales this weekend, banking nearly $16 million. Teen thriller Goosebumps dropped down to second place, earning about $15.5 million. And Bridge of Spies, coming in at number 3 for the second week, brought in $11.4 million. I'm Jeremy Roth for Hollywood Minute.
Everyone was wide awake when Katy Perry made a surprise concert at Hillary Clinton's rally in Iowa. Perry performed a few songs including America the Beautiful, Firework, and Wide Awake at Clinton's presidential campaign wearing a strapless white gown with a star-spangled cape. Hillary's husband and former President Bill Clinton was also present and introduced the pop singer on stage. The performance came just a few days shy from Hillary's birthday, which is actually today. Demi Lovato and Nick Jonas have just announced their joint tour titled Future Now, announced for summer of 2016. The former Disney stars and longtime friends have about 30 shows lined up for fans, spanning from May to September of next year. This is not the first time the two artists have worked together. Both Jonas and Lovato appeared on Disney's channels Camp Rock, as well as touring together as guest performers at each other's tours. The singers have kept busy recently. Demi Lovato has just released her new album, Confident, and Nick Jonas released his latest single back in August. That's all for you. Now, back to you guys.
Coming up, see how the Titan women's soccer faced up against Cal State Northridge. And the latest in the World Series. Donald is up next with all your latest news and sports.
The odds of this daughter of a clergyman spending 11 weeks at number 1 on the U.S. singles charts? 1 in 19 million. The odds of going on to win 6 Grammy Awards? 1 in 1.4 million. The odds of having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 150. I'm Toni Braxton, and I encourage you to learn the signs of autism at autismspeaks.org.
Honey, the credit fairy doesn't exist.
What?
It's make-believe. Nobody left anything under your pillow.
If there's no credit fairy, then we'll make our credit score go up.
We will, by doing things like paying our bills on time.
There's no magic to improving your credit, but there's help, and it's free. Go to creditfairy.org.
See which women's Titan soccer players set a record this week, and the latest baseball's World Series and local hockey teams. Here is Donald with your sports news.
Well, it's been quite a week and we've got a lot to cover, so let's get started locally with Cal State Fullerton's women's soccer over the weekend and their Birken Road to victory. The Titans faced off against Cal State Northridge on Sunday evening. Rebecca Wilson made a pass to Christina Birkenroad, and she ends up driving it to the Matadors goalie and makes a chip back to Wilson, who lands it, scoring the only point in a heavily defensive game. Wilson, with this, leads the conference with her 16th goal. It was also a record-setting night for Titan goalie Jennifer Stewart, who kept CSUN from scoring, making it her 6th shutout game for the year and 11th win for this season. In the world of baseball, the Mets and the Royals are facing off in the World Series, and they are playing tomorrow night. Game 1 starts at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as the Mets are playing in Kansas City for their first 2 games, and on Friday they meet at New York. Both teams are looking to take home a series victory, which neither of them has ever experienced since the mid-'80s. Anyone remember that? So in hockey news, with our local team right across the street, the Anaheim Ducks were having a rough night. Early in the game, it looked like Sean Horkoff scored a goal right off the rebound from Minnesota. However, the refs called it, and the goal was later to be found a kicking motion. Later in the period, Matt Dumba of the Wild gets a chance to place Minnesota on the board, and with assists from Zucker and Koivu, he takes it, and he goes the Wild 1-10 going into the second. Thomas Vanek takes a shot and extends the lead to 2-0. The Wild continues to lead in the second period, with Ryan Carter taking assists from teammates Fontaine and Spurgeon to score another point and to keep Minnesota on top until the end of the game. Minnesota ends and claims the victory over Anaheim 3-0. Meanwhile, in other California hockey news, we go to another team that took to the ice this weekend. The Kings came out strong Saturday night with Tyler Toffoli placing LA on the board with 1-0 on the Kings with a lead in the second period. Jonathan Quick makes a quick work to keep Carolina from scoring, and Ans Kopitar comes out and scoring yet another goal for the Kings, bringing them to a 2-0 lead. Same period, Toffoli comes out again, and he rushes yet to another point and puts LA on the board yet again. In the end, the Hurricanes just couldn't come back, and the Kings triumph 3-0. Finally, in basketball, tomorrow night at 5 p.m., the Cleveland Cavaliers take on the Chicago Bulls for the start of the season, followed by the New Orleans Pelicans at the Golden State Warriors. Lakers fans will have to wait until Wednesday when the LA Lakers take on the Timberwolves, but they can breathe a sigh of relief because it looks like Kobe will be back in fighting shape, and Meta World Peace has made the roster. Well, that's all the sports news for you today. Back to you guys.
After a week-long celebration of the 30th anniversary of Back to the Future, the Puente Hills Mall held an event for fans to gather and screen the first film. Here's Genesis Miranda with more.
Today I'm here at the Twin Pines Mall, the Puente Hills Mall and City of Industry in Los Angeles County. Throughout this whole week, there has been a celebration in honor of the 30th anniversary of the first Back to the Future film. Wednesday, October 21st, 2015 was the famous date where Marty McFly traveled into the future. And this exact location here at the mall is where Doc Emmett L. Brown showed Marty McFly his DeLorean time machine. Throughout the week, fans have been visiting, cosplaying characters such as Marty McFly and Doc Brown, and taking pictures next to the replicas of the Twin Pines Mall sign, Doc Brown's truck, and the DeLorean time machine.
We've been fans of Back to the Future for a long time, ever since we were kids. And we were busy on the 21st, but we made it in time to come to the Twin Pines Mall, so it's pretty exciting.
Just meeting a lot of the other fans, really getting to see everyone's love for the show. I really like all of the ways that they use time travel. It's not just you go once and you're done. You know, they keep having cause and effect situations where they have to keep going back and forth, and it's a lot of fun to watch all the things unfold. Their idea of how time travel would work is pretty well thought out.
It is said that actors from the film are supposed to be visiting, and the first film will be screened here in the parking lot. It is also said, according to the Puente Hills Mall Facebook, that they will be reenacting the famous scene.
I think it's cool just all the fans getting together. I've been working on this DeLorean here for a couple months now, so it'll be fun to show it off. This is Pierre. His name's Marty McFly today. So how you doing, bud?
For OC News, I'm Genesis Miranda.
That's all today for OC News. Make sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter under OC News CSUF for more updates on the show.
Thank you for joining us, and have a nice day.